Potentiometer.
Eggy Spaghetti back inside the Spaghetti Lab, and in the last video we looked at the buzzer, but we had no real way of changing the pitch of it as it was going. So I thought it was a good time to talk about potentiometers, which are basically a knob. And we often use potentiometers in all kinds of devices where you need to control something just right. You see them on ovens to control the amount of heat to a burner, and say a volume knob on a stereo system. This is another potentiometer right here, and typically by the time it ends up in the hands of the user, it has a sort of a cap on it. Okay, so a potentiometer is basically a resistor, which we've looked at in a previous video, and it's called a variable resistor because when we turn the knob, we're able to change the amount of resistance that's going to happen. Okay, so let's look at the circuit that we're going to be wiring up. We're able to go directly to the Arduino with the potentiometer, and the main thing to know is that the middle pin, which is called the wiper, it is going to go to analog 0. That's the port that's going to read our signal. One side is going to go to ground, and the other side, actually don't need to use that ground. We can use this ground, and the other side is going to go to 5 volts. Okay, so pretty simple. We're just going to wire this up, and then we're going to upload some code to check that it's reading properly. Okay, so we're just going to place the potentiometer on the breadboard, and the middle pin will go to A0 on the Arduino. It's a bit of a jump the way I did it there. And one pin will go to ground, and the third one will go to 5 volts. And now we can check that we did this properly. Okay, so the way we're going to check that the potentiometer is reading properly is we're going to load up the Arduino IDE. We go to examples, analog in out serial. What's going to happen in this sketch is it's going to initialize the serial port, and it's going to read what's coming in and then write it to our serial port. So let's plug in the device. Here we go on the USB modem port, compiling, and now we look at our serial monitor, and it's showing us. So as I turn the knob, to one side it's all the way to 0, and then as I turn it to the left it's going to 600. So what I can do if I ever wanted to flip the behavior is I just flip the plus and minus. So now all the way to the left is showing 0, and all the way to the right is showing just about 600. Now if I ever needed to make that number go higher, which we're going to need for the next step when we work with the buzzer again, I can manipulate the code. Now, just so you know, if you read this sketch, it actually takes care of something else, which is analog output, similar to what we've been doing with the buzzer. So there's a bit extra code in here that's going to be doing the output side of things, but I can actually go sensor value equals sensor value times 2, and that number of 600 should double. Already I see a double, so it's 0 to 1114, and that's just a quick way to get a larger number out of something like a knob sweep. And then down below here we see the map function, which is another way of doing that in a more precise way. If you need just a certain number of numbers in your knob sweep, you can do that with the map function. Okay, that's just the basic intro into how to read the values of the potentiometer into the serial port. And in the next video, we're going to bring the buzzer back and have this knob control the pitch of that. Okay, see you in the next video.